Hey everyone, it's your guy Sci-Fi here, and I'm with Robert Irvin, the developer of the Oaks Condominiums Resort just outside of Tamarindo. Welcome, Robert.
Thank you, Sci-Fi.
Appreciate that. All right, so we have a few questions here, and we're just going to jump right in. So, we're going to start out with about living in Costa Rica. So, how long have you been living in Costa Rica?
I first came to Costa Rica probably in about 2002. So, what's that, 16 years?
Yeah.
And probably living here since 2004.
Okay, awesome. And what did you do before moving to Costa Rica?
Well, when I came to Costa Rica, I was retired, and I had been retired for about 5 years from the savings and loan business. I had a savings and loan out in Oklahoma.
Okay, very cool. And what made you choose Costa Rica?
Well, I met an incredibly attractive young lady in Miami, and for all I knew, Costa Rica was an island in the Caribbean. I had no idea. Turned out that she was from Costa Rica. So we started visiting Costa Rica. One thing led to another. I fell, shall we say, out of love with the young lady and in love with Costa Rica.
Fair enough. Absolutely. And
isn't that why all guys go everywhere?
yeah. Yes, it's always about a girl.
Yeah.
It's always about a girl. And do you live here year round?
I do. I typically am here maybe 9 months of the year, and I try to take 6 months of vacation each year, and I wind up taking about 3.
Okay, awesome. So what do you like most about living here in Costa Rica?
I really like the style of life. For a long time I lived in Miami, so I'm used to the Latin culture, but this is much less aggressive in Miami, much more relaxed.
Okay.
The people really are pura vida.
Yeah.
So if you're here for relaxation, for friends, this is a great place.
Nice. Absolutely. And what was the hardest thing to get used to?
That the people are so relaxed.
Yeah.
They're so laid back.
Yeah. Okay, so how expensive is it to live here in comparison to Miami?
Wow. Well, the real estate here is probably about a quarter of the price of real estate in Miami for a comparable place. To have one of these condominiums in Miami in a location like this, you're probably looking at about $800,000.
Okay.
Same thing in Toronto, by the by.
Yeah.
So the real estate here is much, much cheaper. Apart from the real estate, the rest of the living costs are probably fairly comparable.
Yeah.
Imported goods are expensive, cars are expensive, locally grown food is cheap, mano de obra, manual work is cheap. For example, here a maid might cost $10 an hour, maybe $30 to $40 for a cleaning. In Miami, the same cleaning is $120, and that's simply wages. So anything that's wage-based here is cheap. Anything that is import-based is expensive.
Fair enough. Absolutely.
Averages out.
Yeah. And so what are some of the biggest differences between living here and Miami or anywhere in the States for that matter?
The pace of life is much slower here, much slower. In general, the people are much friendlier. In general, there's a much less emphasis on making money. If you're in Miami or LA, I've also lived in LA for a number of years, one of the first questions that's going to come up really fast is, what do you do? And by implication, how much do you make? Here, it's not that important.
Yeah.
It's less material.
Yeah.
More like that.
All right, Robert, we're going to be asking some questions about personal development here. And for our audience, so the first question is, do you have a diet or eating guidelines that you follow on a daily basis?
I can resist almost anything except temptation.
Oh, that's...
So, no. My wife's a vegetarian, so I do a lot of salads, but I would not be your role model for eating.
That's fair. It helps that you have such fresh, good food in Costa Rica. That helps a lot.
Yes, that's easy.
All right. Do you count calories?
I do not.
Yeah.
I simply weigh myself, and when it's going steady or down, I'm happy. When it's going up, I eat less.
Okay. And do you use any supplements?
Yes, I use a supplement called Niagen. I have no idea whether it works or not. It's supposed to build you up at the cellular level. It's probably a scam, but it has a lot of good comments on the internet. It's still probably a scam.
Niagen.
Yeah.
And how did you find this?
Through a friend of mine in Miami,
Okay.
who swears by it. He says it keeps him young, and I thought, well, okay.
Try it out.
Yep.
Absolutely. Okay. And do you meditate?
No, I did do TM, but I don't really need it here.
What's TM?
Transcendental meditation.
Okay.
I needed it when I was working. Now I don't.
Okay.
Maybe I do and just don't know it.
Fair enough. So currently you do not meditate?
No.
Okay. And then how much time would you say you spend working at your business during the week?
Probably 4 hours a day. So say 25 hours a week.
Okay. Part-time kind of thing?
Yeah.
Nice. And we asked this a little bit earlier, but do you travel a lot?
I do.
Yeah.
When it rains in Costa Rica, you'll find me on the airplane.
Yeah. You get out at that time.
I get out then because it's slow season here, and so that gives me a chance to get away.
Mm-hmm.
Take off 4 or 6 weeks, something like that, and
Nice.
come back, make sure the buildings haven't burned down.
And where would you choose to go traveling?
Edinburgh, Madrid, the East Coast, Virginia for family, and the West Coast, LA area, Pasadena for family.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. How many sources of income do you have?
Not that many. Let's see. Stock market and rental income here.
Next question here. Do you still invest in your education?
I don't pay people for seminars. I do get a lot of online information that is freemium, and then I stop typically when they want me to pay. But yeah, I'm trying to learn a lot about how basically to maximize the experience here, how to maximize rentals and how to maximize the vacation experience.
Okay, perfect. How much would you say you sleep?
As much as possible. I'm 70 years old now. So when my dad and his wife married the second time at about 65, and every afternoon at about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, they go take a nap together for about an hour or 2 hours. And I thought, that is so sweet. They're on the second marriage. That is so romantic. I love that. Now I understand they were really taking naps.
Nice.
So I will, as much as I can, take a nap, Spanish style.
Yeah.
And so then I'll come back and work, my 4 hours after my nap.
Nice. Yeah. So would you say you get an 8-hour sleep, a 6-hour sleep?
It's probably 8 because as you get older, you don't sleep 8 hours at night. So you wind up waking up at 5 in the morning, and then there's no point staying trying.
Yeah.
And so then you get up, and then when you're tired, you go back.
Yeah. So between the entire day, you'd say you try to get about 8 hours throughout the 24-hour kind of thing?
I don't try.
Yeah.
I just sleep when I feel like it, and I get up when I feel like it, and that's the advantage of being semi-retired.
Okay. How much time would you say you spend just relaxing and recharging?
As much as possible.
Same with the sleep? Same with the sleep.
Yeah. But if you've planned your life, you can get work-life balance here. Okay, it's it's a joke, right? Work-life balance, but here you really can. So I don't even think about it that much. I just think, do I need to work? And then if the answer to that is no, then I don't.
Yeah, that's a good life.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Do you engage in activities within the community here?
The community in the sense of the Oaks, yes. I'm fully engaged with all, 80-something owners, almost all of whom are my friends. And other than that, I'm engaged with some people in San Jose. There's a missionary there in San Jose, San Clemente. Basically, teaches young boys to be priests. I'm not sure what you call it. I'm not Catholic.
Okay, and how do you like to spend your time?
I like to spend it with my wife. I like to spend it talking and listening to people. I like to spend it going out. which I don't do enough of, but I like it. And I like travel.
Do you have a routine, a daily routine that you try to stick with from morning to night?
No. I mean, other than the siesta,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't really a routine. That's just when I feel tired, I go to sleep. No. I'm a semi-retired, okay? So if you're looking for a lifestyle from me, first you got to get to the point where you're semi-retired. And that's a good thing in Costa Rica because this is a great place to be retired or semi-retired.
Nice. And lastly here, what would be the most important thing that you would recommend to someone to improve their quality of life?
Take it easier, if you can. I mean, when you work, but when you don't work, don't think about work.
Try to separate them.
Just turn it off.
Yeah.
Turn it off. I mean, you commented, hey, I came by, you're not in the office. Well, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so next few questions here are going to be more towards business. So how did you come up with this idea and how did it all start?
I'd been retired for about 5 years. Spent some time down in the Keys drinking beer and fishing. Only so many fish you can catch, so much beer you can drink. Spent 3 years in Switzerland retired. Great, but very calm.
Mm-hmm.
And I was bored. So I had been in the real estate business all my working life. First as a lawyer, then as a banker. And of course, as a lawyer and a banker, I was certain that I knew every mistake that had ever been committed. There wasn't a mistake made that I hadn't seen. And so I thought, well, you're bored. Why not, go build something? Well, okay, yeah, I can do that. I've seen every mistake. Boy, I'm not going to make these mistakes, 1 through 30. I found out there were a few more that I hadn't learned. But I was no longer bored. I met my wife down here. And after the construction was over, I was able to go into semi-retirement because now it's just an incremental improvement each year. But it's not, knock yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
It's relatively easy.
How did you come up with the idea of having the high-end condominiums in Costa Rica?
Well, first, they're not high-end. These are medium end.
Okay.
The average selling price is under $200,000. The highest selling price at the peak of the market was probably about $220,000, $230,000. We'll get back to that, I think, pretty soon, but we're not there yet. The high end here would be a selling price of a condominium, maybe $600,000 or $700,000. Really luxury, $1 million. House, maybe up to $3 million. So this is not high end. This is medium, which I wanted. I didn't want high end.
Yeah, perfect. And so we kind of touched on this earlier, but what did you do before starting this?
Well, counting back from retirement, okay, because retired for 5 years before starting this, I was in the savings and loan business for about 8 years. We bought a failing savings and loan and helped to clean up the mess. Used it to buy about 8 other failed savings and loans, put them together. I got lucky, and from that I was able to retire. And before that, I'd been a real estate lawyer doing commercial real estate, office buildings, shopping centers, larger projects, hotels. So all real estate related, none of it as a developer. So this was a new experience.
How long have you had this current business for?
Well, I think I bought the land in about 2004 or 5. And from there, it was a couple of years in permitting and a year in construction. So probably the beginning of 2008, we finished construction. So 10 years in operation.
So how did you come up with the money to start?
Through my previous work life.
Mm-hmm.
Savings.
Savings, no?
Yeah, just when I retired, I had a little bit of money, and I just used that.
Awesome. Okay, how many people work in this business?
Here at the Oaks?
Yeah.
Roughly 25.
Okay.
Security, gardening and maintenance, and housekeeping, and then 3 people in the office.
What are the biggest issues regarding running this business?
Costa Rica is a very relaxed country, very laid back. If someone tells you that they'll do it mañana, mañana does not mean tomorrow. It means not today.
Yeah.
If they tell you that they'll do it in 3 weeks, it means maybe 9 months. And if they tell you 3 months, it means probably never. So you've got to be very careful not to pay people on a pay-as-you-go basis. You have to pay them for work performed. It's a challenge, but you can learn it. It's a learned behavior.
Especially compared to where you're from.
Compared to almost anywhere.
Yeah. Okay, so if something happened to you, what would happen to your business?
It would die.
Yeah.
I mean, the Oaks would continue. It's built. There's nothing more to build. A different manager would be elected and would run it. And that would be it.
Yeah. So it would still keep going.
Well, the buildings aren't going anywhere. The reputation's not going anywhere. This is real estate. The builder of buildings dies. Are the buildings going away? They're not. Okay? These buildings don't have my name on them. This is the Oaks. It'll be here.
Yeah, fair enough. So, what drives you to keep going when it gets really tough?
Well, it doesn't get really tough. Seriously, I'm in semi-retirement.
Yeah.
I think the straight answer to that question is you just do it. Okay? If it doesn't get done today, you try it tomorrow. If it doesn't get done tomorrow, you try it the next day, and so forth and so on, especially in Costa Rica. Okay? Because you can be almost certain it's not going to get done today. Okay? Today is a very special day if it gets done. But you just keep going.
Awesome. And what was your biggest failure, and what did you learn from it?
My biggest failure was probably my divorce to my first wife, and what I learned from it was to work less.
That's good advice. All right. How would you define success? What is it for you?
Be happy. If you can, help other people be happy. At the least, don't make them unhappy. Create something that has some value that's more than yourself.
Okay. To what do you attribute your success?
Luck.
Really?
If you don't, you're lying. Everybody has luck. And if you don't admit it, you're lying, or you're self-delusional. Lucky to be born in the United States. Lucky to have a good education. Lucky to have parents that care. Lucky, really, both times. You have a good life. If you don't have those things, you're not going to go very far, or else you're going to be miserable. So, I think if you look in your own life, you're going to say that, yours isn't quite as long as mine, but luck plays a big role.
Absolutely. Okay. What advice would you give to someone who is thinking about starting their own business?
Just keep going. Keep going. You got to like it. You don't have to love it. You can experiment. But just keep going. If you don't get it done today, do some more of it tomorrow. Just keep going.
That's good advice. Okay. If you got back in time and had a chance to start from scratch, what would you do differently?
That's hard because, you learn from your mistakes. So if you don't make mistakes, then where would you be, right? Because when I was younger, I was not really like I wanted to learn stuff, especially in the law business. Okay? I wanted to learn more about more. Okay? I wasn't that goal-oriented. When I got older, I got goal-oriented. So if you're just looking for material success, money, then get goal-oriented early. Worry less about the process and more about the goal. On the other hand, you have a nice ride when you're knowledge-oriented. You learn things. So I don't really have, that many do-overs. Because I probably would have retired 3 or 4 years before I did. That's probably the one big difference.
Okay. Do you have any idols in the business that you look up to?
Other than the tea, no. Um, that's a joke.
Yeah.
Obviously, on the investing side, Warren Buffett.
Mm-hmm.
So for what little I do in the stock market, Warren Buffett, but you can't emulate it. He's a genius.
Yeah, he's one of them.
Yeah. But in terms of real estate, no.
Yeah. Okay. How did technology impact your business?
Changed it a lot. Let's say from 2009, okay, when we were first renting and trying to develop this into resort condominiums, a lot of it was personal contact. I went to San Jose, entered into convenios, which are agreements with all of the large employers, Hewlett-Packard, Coca-Cola, Dos Pinos, all of those, and got basically everybody who was anybody in San Jose to come here. Okay? Old-fashioned shoe leather. Okay? Then, I'm not exactly sure the year, but maybe somewhere around 2012, all of a sudden everything was booking.com, hotels.com, you name it.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Then, for me, because I'm a slow learner, probably in 2016, for me, slow learner, Airbnb, which opened up an alternative market, a different market. And today, Internet 2.0, where you have more group-oriented travelers who are finding you through groups. So we'll leave those names out.
Awesome. And then lastly for our audience, what book would you recommend for them to read?
Okay, that's a Rorschach test. For fiction and fun, The Count of Monte Cristo, which you can read on many levels. Okay, take out of it who you are. You can read it on a lot of levels. But a fun read, an original, kind of page-turner thriller. Nonfiction, maybe Guns, Germs, and Steel by Jared Diamond. Brilliant book about how the West conquered the world, if it did, and why. Hence, Guns, Germs, and Steel. Almost anything having to do with evolutionary biology. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy, but I'm having a senior moment. He's written about 6 or 8 books. The Selfish Gene. Darwin, I only knew him when I was a kid. This is in my adult age. Guns, Germs, and Steel is a California professor. The Selfish Gene is Richard Dawkins, who is a Brit, but still a very good writer.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, awesome. Brits are very good writers.
Awesome. Okay, well, Robert, thank you, I guess.
Listen, it's been great.